Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. The Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide has vowed to use non-kinetic approach to resolve security challenges in the Southeast region by appealing to people causing bloodshed to embrace peace. The President General of the Igbo socio-cultural organization, Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu, disclosed this during a world conference it organized to announce the program for the September 29th Igbo Day celebration in Enugu State. Iwuanyanwu, who described the killings and bloodshed in the southeast as strange, maintained that security of every place in Nigeria is a collective responsibility, noting that the federal government alone could not handle it. He said that during the Igbo Day celebration, he would announce the non-kinetic approach to end insecurity in the zone, adding that he would also resolve all political crises among the political leaders in the zone by reconciling them to move the region forward. This morning, we're joined by the Publicity Secretary, Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, Dr. Ogbonnia. Good morning, Dr. Ogbonnia. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for taking us.
Great to have you on the program. A quick Google search, with Ohaneze and, of course, insecurity in the Southeast will show that there's been multiple times Ohaneze has proposed different ways to end insecurity in the Southeast. It's spoken about negotiations, spoken about improving governance, spoken about, reuniting people and all of that. But none of that seemed to have changed much. Enugu State currently, of course, there's people who say that the kidnapping and insecurity in Enugu State in particular currently is extremely high, and that's where you currently are. So what is different about this new non-kinetic approach by Ohaneze Ndigbo?
Okay, in the first place, let me thank you for this giving us audience. I use this opportunity to point out that evidently a new leadership has taken up in Ohaneze Ndigbo, and that is Dr. Engineer Chief Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu. It's an entirely new paradigm shift in what was happening. So whatever modalities that have been engaged in the past with respect to the insecurity in the South, it cannot be attributed to him. So he's a new leader. Number two is to let every person know, and I think all of us already know, that the kind of restiveness and agitation for secession you have in the Southeast is as a result of injustice in the society against the Igbo. What became so evident was the other time when it was very clear it was the Southeast to produce the president for Nigeria. So it appeared that people began various forms of conspiracy and began to politicize, to alienate the people of Igbo from the centers of power. So what most youths are saying in the South is that if you don't give them their due, what is due to them, then allow them to go. It's just the two options that they present to us. Is either you give them what is due to them, they exceed the justice on ground, the social justice where equity is the key. Then if you don't do that, the moment everything is lopsided against people, then that is basis for the agitation. Now, when we talk about non-kinetic approach, the non-kinetic approach we're talking about is engage them. Like Chief Iwuanyanwu said that even if it means going to Finland to talk to someone, and we call him my brother, what is the problem? I will begin to discuss with him. And of course, we are so sad that in spite of the ruling in the court that the Kanu should be set free, he's still being incarcerated. So these are the issues. So when we say non-kinetic approach, it's a matter of engaging the various units, various sectors of agitations in the Southeast, and begin to discuss with them and to inform them that we're not doing each other any good.
So are you then saying
the barrel of the gun inwards?
Yeah, Dr. Ogbonnia, are you then saying that the agitations in the Southeast for secession, the IPOB's agitation, the presence and the existence of Simon Ekpa, the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu, is what has led to kidnapping and other very, very violent crimes in the Southeast?
I'm coming to kidnapping. Most people that have been arrested in kidnapping operations are people from outside Fulani extraction. So almost all the bushes in the Southeast are occupied by them, and most of the kidnapping activities are by them. So that is where the federal government comes in when it comes to security architecture of the country. We have often said in Ohaneze Ndigbo, when we talk about restructuring, we are talking about there has never been any federal system of government where we have a central security architecture. It is not in any person in any normal federal system. We have about 4 or 5 levels of security architecture. One in the federal, one in the state, one is even a local, one are private, like in universities. So when the moment you unbundle the security architecture and empower the states, when you have like in Enugu State, you have Inspector General, you have the Commissioner of Police, but the governor here has no control over the Commissioner of Police. You have this 2 division. Governor has no control over the military. So when you say chief security officer, it's okay, it's chief security officer, but he cannot even issue the orders and directives to them. So like I was saying, some of these things are things that have to be looked at when we talk about restructuring.
Yeah, but this is the where it doesn't add up. If you say that the people who are committing the violent insecurity issues in the southeast, the kidnapping and the banditry and whatnot, according to you, Hausa Fulani people, then why are we speaking about non-kinetic means and going to Finland to speak with Simon Ekpa? Is Simon Ekpa going to speak with the Hausa Fulani that you
have been arrested? Most people are arrested in the kidnapping operations, activities. From the Hausa Fulani, that one is one side of it.
Yeah, I get that, but you're saying that you want to speak with Simon Ekpa, for example, and you're going to negotiate and and bring people together and all of that. So are you saying that you're going to be speaking with the Hausa Fulani and negotiating with them? And
I said there are 2 ways. There are 2 forms of insecurity. I've told the one of Simon Ekpa. I'm telling you the one of kidnapping, where he appears to be ignoring that side. I said there are 2 ways. The one of kidnapping, the one that happened even last week. Some of them were arrested, the Hausa Fulani. The one that happened to my neighbor here, Hausa Fulani. So that one is very clear. So that one is by the way. But the agitations and restiveness in the southeast, like Simon Ekpa and things like that, we are telling him that they are facing the barrel of the gun inwards. It's not supposed to be. The economy of the southeast is being destroyed. So these are the kind of engagement we take on them. And when it comes to kidnapping and other form of banditry, in Nigeria, we talk with how we can reach the federal government and how they can assist. Because security cannot, the way security is now, the state government has no power so far to contain the form of security we have with respect to this kind of kidnapping and so on and so forth. So there are various ways to it. So we take the one that concerns our youth, Igbo people, and definitely take on with the presidency, the one that concerns some of these extraneous insecurity activities.
All right. How would you react to people who say that, Ohaneze Ndigbo and, of course, the Southeast governance and political leadership is giving persons like Simon Ekpa too much power and too much relevance, by thinking now that maybe it's best that they go and negotiate with him and calm him down and see how they can find middle ground? How would you react to those who say that you're maybe giving him too much power? And if the Southeast political leadership, had acted right all these years, he probably wouldn't have all this power that you're once again going to give him.
What the problem is that we have non-state actors who overtake the streets and begin to compel people to sit at home. So the state actors themselves are not able to contain that. So at a point, it appears we don't have sufficient security operatives to encourage people to be on their streets and the marketplaces. So non-state actors often overtake the streets, also compelling people, influencing them to stay at home. So this is been the problem. It's not that the leaders we are cooperating or collaborating with Simon Ekpa and the people who instigate people to sit at home. But the point that the people who are afraid of coming out because of uncertainties, especially when they don't have sufficient security around them. No person has ever collaborated or cooperated or even complied with their sit at home as such willingly. No. The point is that the people are afraid of what is likely to happen to them if they come out. So that is why, not that they cooperated with them as a matter of fact, but with new engagement, you can see the governor of Enugu State came and began to talk with market traders, began to talk with Okada, what they call Kekena riders, and so on and so forth. All these things are non-kinetic methods of curtailing insecurity. So we are, Ohaneze, we are believing you can't continue to fight with your son and children. It's not relevant, it's not a matter of relevance. The person knows Simon Ekpa already. we've continued to use the kinetic approach, but it's not work. So we try to devise what that means. So nobody should have us to blame for trying to apply these means. When you have a struggle or fight with your children, and at a point it appears there's no other way, because when any Igbo boy, Igbo young man dies, it hurts. It's disturbing. It's our children. They are our children. So we cannot keep our, using the same method and expecting different results. So let us see how we can approach it through entirely different results. And more importantly, to see how we can continue to press on the presidency to reason Nandekan. By the time Nandekan is released, and we'll be able to bring in Simon Ekpa. So some of these things, at least we'll be moving forward. So that is how we look at it.
Okay. Well, we're going to get back to the Nnamdi Kanu perspective, and but I also want to ask about previous Ohaneze leadership, Chief Nyanwodo and Professor George Obiozo. Would you say that they didn't understand, the level of negotiations and the level of partnerships, that were important to achieve these things, and Chief Iwuanyanwu maybe understands it better, or is going to put in more effort?
Yeah, let me say that Chief Iwuanyanwu was a politician and a businessman. He has diverse contacts, and he's almost far result-oriented than the bureaucrats and the diplomats that he took over from. So Obiozo was a bureaucrat and what we call diplomat. So, but of course, for one to become a diplomat, must have been a bureaucrat. So there's a difference, a distinction between bureaucracy and business form of result-oriented platform. So Iwuanyanwu platform is trying to be more result-oriented. It's true that Modu and Obiozo tried all these methods, but I want to see the one of Iwuanyanwu succeeding more, because Iwuanyanwu has brought mainstream the Igbo industrialists into Ohanese's system. He has been able to galvanize all the Southeast governors to a common agenda. And the way he's going about is that he's carrying almost all Igbo together in his movement. So he's gaining more support than other ones that have been there before. That is the position now.
Okay, well, and then let's also quickly talk about, the meeting you had in Enugu State over the weekend, I think over this weekend. Can you give us details of what that meeting was about, and what new decisions have been made concerning Ohaneze Ndigbo?
You said what?
I hear that you had a meeting in Enugu State over the weekend. I'm asking if you can give us details concerning that meeting, or yesterday.
Yeah, that meeting is like a precursor to the Igbo Day, which comes up on 29th of this month at Okpara Square. Precursor in the sense that that's what we call Imobi. Imobi have to be briefed properly about what is going on, where they will ratify certain decisions we have taken and activities we want to embark upon. And thereafter, we read them everybody into the Igbo Day, which comes up on 29th. So what happened over the weekend was like taking a decision, presenting our, what we may call the manifesto to Imobi Ohaneze Ndigbo, and then endorsed this, and we're now taking it to the world on 29th of September. Igbo Day, like is two perspectives of looking at it. One is what happened to the Igbo in 1945, 1953, 1966 at various places in northern region, and more importantly, during the war, a lot of Igbo that were killed during the war. So somehow we got sober reflection on one side, and again to thank God for the kind of resilience, ingenuity, and resourcefulness, audaciousness we have to be among people to be able to overcome these adversities and convert them into various opportunities. So the grace of God that we everywhere all over the world, Igbos are there, and they are doing well in various enterprises, and so good public relation with the host communities, and thriving and doing well in spite of the suffocations. So these are things that no more kind of reflection or anger, anguish, but a thing that we begin to thank God and praise God for the kind of resilience we have amongst Igbo, and also to encourage them to keep up. That at the end, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and those who are hardworking, disciplined, and also believing in God will eventually overcome.
Okay, and final question to you, Dr. Ogbonnia. Nigeria has a new president. Do you expect that the reaction towards Nnamdi Kanu will be different under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu compared to what it was, in the previous administration? Does the new administration give you any hope that the judiciary maybe will act different this time?
Well, it is to the advantage of Tinubu that there is peace in Nigeria. It is to the advantage of Tinubu that is peace in Nigeria. Like Tinubu, who tried to, it is the advantage of Tinubu that there is peace in Nigeria. Unlike Buhari, that was doing most things with impunity. You can see where we are now. You can see the economy. You can see what is happening. We don't blame what is happening now on Tinubu. We blame what is happening now on Buhari, who didn't listen to anybody, who depended on lopsided ethnic form of leadership. And look at what is happening to the economy. He didn't listen to advice on security. So it is the advantage of Tinubu that there is peace in Nigeria. It is when we have peace that foreign investors will come in. When we have peace that Nigeria will begin to grow. In any society without peace, any society that is entrenched on insecurity cannot grow. No person can in any way discount the role of Igbo in Nigerian socio-economic development. So any person trying to do that is at his own peril. So I hope that Tinubu will listen to the voices of wisdom and begin to apply them so that Nigeria will grow. It is to its own credit there is peace in Nigeria. It is own credit that releases Nnamdi Kanu. It is own credit that there is no restiveness in the Southeast. It is own credit that Nigeria is integrated and united into one formation and prosperity. So that's our approach to it. You look at what happened the other time, the service chiefs, nothing, no ministry of relevance was allocated to the Southeast. And of course, we kept complaining, and Buhari ignored us. We look at the consequence of what happened. Look at the other day, Omahi was appointed the minister, very good. One of the best appointments ever made. But during the time of Buhari, it was a lawyer as a minister for work. And to the extent you spoke to him, he didn't want to listen. And look at where it has led us. It is to the advantage of Tinubu that he begins to do things in the right way. We will continue to tell him, but if you don't take it, whichever he drives Nigeria, he's at the steering, he's the pilot. I hope you understand. But I know any sensible leader would like to integrate all sectors of society and also all the ethnics and unite them into one goal.
All right. The Publicity Secretary, Ohaneze Ndigbo, Dr. Alex Ogbonnia, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for speaking with us. We look forward to, of course, other conversations with you in the future.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Absolutely.